Okay, here's one on sense of humor. I know I was wrong for finding it funny, but I found it funny. So I'm not going to really say I was wrong because I still am giggling about it. Posted the other day that, if I would just be content sleeping on the ground, it would be okay because I just have roll-up service, They good people who don't understand yet would roll up and bring me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe not in that order, but I know I'm not going to starve. I just got to lay there long enough, and some good-hearted people are going to roll up and feed me. And I'm going to say thank you by throwing everything all over the ground that they brought me. So as I left the place I was staying today, I'm walking, and this vehicle went by fairly fast. Now along the curb line, there's just the water's kind of still standing there. And that vehicle was driving right through that water. Well, you know what happens if you're sleeping on the curb and the curb is full of water and a vehicle drives through it. It's going to make you could call it a tidal wave. And I'm not going to apologize because to me that was funny. To me that was funny. You don't want to offend the community that looks out for you. Don't get mad when some of the community wants to offend you back. So every one of them had nothing nice to say. I just had to say, I had to step back and say, I'm glad it didn't get me because I got cashmere on. I don't know. I know part of me is wrong for finding it funny. But y'all ain't been through the 10 years I've been through. You've not been through the 10 years that I've endured. So part of me finding the backlash to some of the behavior humorous. If I'm wrong, I know God will let me know. I know God would let me know. See, I don't believe there's any reason for anybody to be sleeping on the curbs unless they don't want to just follow the rules. I got off the bus the 17th of this month, and I have spent not one night outside. I thought I was going to have to because I wasn't going to be a liar and commit to a program for 10 months knowing I'm not going to be there 10 months. So I went, I cried, and I shed some tears. And then I prayed. And I asked God to lead me to a place where I wouldn't be forced into a lie, just so I could have shelter from the elements. And all of a sudden, I felt myself rise to my feet, and I just followed my feet. And I was led to what I found most beautiful, because when I was homeless, I would go find churches and I would sleep under the cross. That's my faith. I know as long as I slept under a cross, I was completely out of harm's way. As my faith grew, the cross I would sleep under was always above me. So when I got off the bus in a new city, pretty big city, I was nervous. It was a test of my faith. I couldn't commit to the 10 months because I will not be a liar. And my faith, after my tears, I followed my feet. It led me to a shelter. Following day, I get up, I go outside, and I'm smoking one of my cigarettes that I had to find on the ground and roll up. And I happen to look up. And what was right above the building I was sleeping in? The cross. 2 days later, they have a lottery, and I prayed. But I knew. My faith told me I would have a bed. 2 days later, I'm being moved into where I'm at now. Following morning, I get up, I go outside, I look right across the street, and lo and behold, guess what I'm looking at? A church house with 2 big crosses. Now for me, I went to there and I worshiped once. But then personally, I won't go back into that place of worship. Why? Because there's people who have church there on Saturdays. Saturday is the Sabbath. For me, Saturday is the Sabbath, and that's just known fact. And the God I worship says we are not to work on the Sabbath. Now, if a minister is holding church on a Saturday, he's working. And what I've discovered is that is the biggest way of saying, F you, or flipping the birdie towards my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and God the Father. So personally, I feel that worship house has been defiled. So I can't go worship in a place like that. And that's just me personally. To each his own. But in my own religion, my own belief, you don't use God's house as a place to say or flip the birdie to him. It's like almost like blasphemy for me. So I cannot bring myself to enter into that building again. It's been defiled.